Hey guys, I'm back with chapter 2 of my book, since you guys seem to like it so much. Yeah. December 11th, Saturday, 10:50 a.m. I lay on my bed, staring at the ceiling. A soft gray light spilled through the blinds. I hadn't turned an overhead light on, but the small lamp beside my bed was still glowing from last night. My arm was still wrapped in gauze. The bleeding mostly stopped, but every now and then the cuts would reopen and sting. My head throbbed like I'd been slamming it into a wall. Staying up late studying was a bad idea. I tried to cram for my history test, knowing full well that if I failed another one, my dad would probably go nuclear. I could hear my mom yelling something from downstairs, but I had my headphones in, so I didn't quite catch what she said. The door creaked open and light flooded into my room. I hissed and covered my eyes. Fuck, close the door, I groaned. I'm getting to that, love, Finn said, shutting it gently. I turned over and pulled my hand from my face as he walked over and sat on my bed beside me, ruffling my hair. What were you up to last night, he said. Studying, I mumbled. Till when? Maybe 3. You've got to stop doing that. These headaches suck, don't they? Yeah, I said, wrapping my arm around him as he lay down beside me. He was freezing, like he'd just come from the outside. He smelled like fresh air and cheap car freshener. Familiar and comforting. Do you want help studying? I think if I look at one more Civil War note, I might start my own war against the school board. Finn laughed, and for some reason, it made me feel accomplished. He wasn't a serious person. Not really. But making him laugh felt like winning something. I hate school, I mumbled into his chest. I know, he said. But hey, only 1 year left till you graduate. Unless what? Unless you go to college. Hell no. Why would I choose more school? This one already sucks. Fair, but if you want a decent job, I'll just start my own business or something, I said with a shrug. I don't need college for that. Well, it depends, he said with a smile. Because after I graduate, I'm done. He kisses my forehead and pulls me closer. 1 more year left, then. 1 more year, I echoed. Boys, let's go. You're going to be late, my mom yelled from downstairs, snapping me out of the warm, half-sleep daze I've fallen into. Finn jolted and promptly fell out of the bed, a tangle of limbs and blankets. Shit, what time is it? I yelled. I checked the clock. Fuck, it's almost 11:30. We have to be at school by noon. The first show of our school's play, Beetlejuice, was in 2 days, and we've overslept, like idiots. We scrambled, throwing on socks and jacket and grabbing for bags. Finn was still fighting with the blanket sheets wrapped around his legs when I finally shoved my shoes on. We ran out the door, yelling and rushed goodbyes to my mom. The school was about 10 minutes away on foot, but we only had about 8. When we were about a block away, Finn slowed, grabbing my arm. Max, look. Another rip. A creature was standing just outside of it. It was the same kind of monster from the basketball court, but now I could see all of it. It had a tall skeletal frame, completely cloaked in black, its eyes glowing red, and that terrible smile, jagged white and yellow teeth. We made eye contact. It grinned wider. Then it leaped back into the rip and vanished. I didn't move. My feet were glued to the ground, and my brain was trying to process what I'd just seen. Max, Finn said, gently tugging my hand. Let's go, okay? I nodded, eyes still on the spot where the creature had stood. Inside the school, the halls were buzzing with show day energy. Actors and tech crew were rushing around, voices overlapping with instructions, joke, and some form of panic. Max, Finn, you're late, Mr. Quinn said, glaring at us over his clipboard. Sorry, sir. Straight to work, Finn called as he dragged me toward the mic cubes. We grabbed our mics and changed into the cramped bathrooms. I dunked into stalls. Changing in front of people wasn't really my thing. After we changed, we joined the line for mic check. Zach, Jared, and Blake were already there, chatting about something stupid. Look who finally decided to show up, Zach said, slapping Finn on the back. After we waited backstage, the nerves hadn't hit me yet, probably because my brain was still stuck on the creature. Our friends showed up, one by one, chatting like nothing had happened. Where were you guys? Ellie asked, giving us a knowing look. Oh, we were just chilling and lost track of time, Finn replied smoothly. Just chillin', huh? Ellie said, doing air quotes. Oh my god, get your mind out of the gutter, Ellie groaned, nudging him with her elbow. I cut in. We did see something on the way here, though. That sobered up the mood instantaneously. You mean one of them? Astrid asked. I nodded. It was completely out of the rip this time, Finn said. Just standing there. What did it look like? Like a skeleton wrapped in pitch black, Finn said. Same eyes, same smile. Same kind of thing from the court, I confirmed. Before anyone could respond, Hannah, the stage manager, barked, Mic check's done. Into places. We're running the show. And just like that, the trance broke. We scattered, stepping into the positions. The stage lights were already warming up, throwing golden pools over the scuffed wood floor. Costumes rustled as people adjusted sleeves, belts, and wigs. The energy in the wings was tense and electric, the kind that always comes before a big run-through. Everyone joked and laughed a little too loudly, trying to shake off nerves. The show started. The scene changes were rushed, but not disastrous. A few missed cues, some overlapped lines, but nothing that couldn't be fixed. It felt good, familiar, like slipping into a role made everything else fade. I could pretend for a moment, just for a little while. Finn nailed his lines, of course. He always had this presence on stage. People looked at him even without meaning to. When he was in character, he lit up. I caught myself watching once or twice when I shouldn't have been, forgetting what I was supposed to do, reacting. It was like the character fit him too well, like the stage had always been waiting for him. There was a moment in scene 8 where our hands brushed during a dramatic confrontation, and I forgot my next line. Just for half a second, but it was enough to get a smirk out of him when the curtains fell, subtle, just between us. Backstage, people scrambled during quick changes. The costume room buzzed with complaints and half-jokes. Where's my damn shoe? Someone took my Corvette? Who moved the prop table again? Tech crew darted around with flashlights and gaff tape, solving problems before the rest of us even knew they existed. You'd hear whispers through the headsets like, "Fly rail ready? Cool, cue the chandelier." And somehow, the chaos managed to function. During intermission, I sat on a stack of flats, sipping from a water bottle as Allie popped down beside me. "You okay?" "Yeah, just thinking." She glanced toward the wings. About all of it. She didn't say anything for a moment, then nodded. "Yeah, me too." From somewhere backstage, Hannah shouted, "5 minutes to places!" We were called back before I could say any more. Act 2 flew by in a blur. Scene 13 was shaky, and half the ensemble missed to be in the dance, but we kept going. We always did. Lines stumbled, props clattered, someone sneezed in the middle of a dramatic monologue. It was the kind of chaos only we could navigate. By the time the final blackout hit, we were sweating and out of breath. The moment the house lights came up, there were applause, for Mr. Quinn, at least. He gave us a slow clap, meaning, not terrible, but don't get cocky. "Well, I think that went relatively well," Aiden said as we filed into the bathroom, pulling off mics and costumes. "We're having a show in 2 days?" "I'd hope so," I said, slipping into a stall. I totally thought Quinn was going to murder us for messing up the dance in scene 13, Blake muttered. I liked Mr. Quinn, sure, don't get me wrong, but he had that look. You know, the look that made you feel like your whole life was a bad dress rehearsal. We finally finished changing and returned our costumes to the rack in the cramped, chaotic costume room. The air smelled like dust, sweat, and old velvet. People joked and teased as they peeled off layers of costume and ducked out of wigs. Someone knocked over a bin of fake eyelashes that spilled and toppled like ghosts across the floor. No one even flinched. Just another day. A moment later, Allie said, "We should have filmed that. Could have submitted it as a rehearsal blooper reel." "You just want an excuse to make another chaotic montage," Ellie replied. "Yeah? So?" After waving goodbye to the rest of the cast and crew, we filed out into the cold night. "So, whose house are we going to?" Asher said, stretching with a groan. "Or a mall trip?" "The mall," I said. "I need a drink." "Mac, you cannot be hungover 2 days before a show," Ellie gasped, fake offended. I rolled my eyes, but everybody laughed, and I couldn't help but joining them. Finn pulled out his phone to text the others and tell them to meet us there. We all piled into Aiden's car. Me, Finn, Ellie, and Aiden cramped ourselves into. We piled into Aiden's car. Me, Finn, Ellie, and Aiden cramping ourselves into it. When we pulled into the mall parking lot, we waited near the entrance, watching our breath fog for the cold air as we waited for the rest of our friends. It was a bit of a surprise B wasn't working tech this time. Normally, she and Ellie were a match set for behind-scene chaos. And Dory, she'd sworn up and down that she wasn't going to do the play, said it would take too much time away from her schoolwork. Eventually, the car rolled in. "Took you guys long enough," Kai called out as they got out of the car. "Yeah, well, Dory drives like a grandma," B said with a smirk. "Hey," Dory snapped, crossing her arms defensively. "I'm just trying not to kill us," she muttered, unraveling her arms with a small frown. "Sure, Grandma," B said, pushing open the mall door. We followed in after them. Everything looked normal. Normal people walked past shopping bags, food court trays, and strollers, vendors barking out discounts, speakers playing soft, generic holiday music. Except there were holes everywhere. Dozens of them, hanging in midair, floating over fountains, cutting through displays. No one else saw them. People passed right through them, completely unaffected, oblivious. I hate to be that guy, Danny said, his voice tight. But is anybody else seeing the mass of holes in the world right now? We stopped as a group. We froze. No one moved. No one spoke. It felt like the air had been sucked out of them all. I stepped forward towards one of the nearest strips. Max, what are you doing? Don't you remember last time? Finn said, his voice rising to a panic. I'll be careful, I said, glancing over my shoulder. Promise. He didn't look convinced, but he didn't stop me. The closest rip cut clean through trash can. I squinted, trying to make sense of it. It was just a hole. I'd been able to see the other side of the can, right? But no. I circled to the other side, and the can was just gone. Just gone on the back side of the rip. There was only empty space. As I walked back in front and slowly reached out, my hand disappeared into the blackness, and I twisted my body over to see the other side. My hand was gone. I yanked it back instantaneously. Okay, can somebody please explain to me what's going on? Dahlia asked, her voice cracking. These holes, or rips, or whatever they are some kind of portal, I said, turning to face them. To where? I don't know. But whatever goes in doesn't come out the other side. Not on our side, anyway. So you're saying matter enters one side and then just vanishes? No asked. Yep, that's what it seems like. Do you think these are individual doorways, or are they connected? Ali asked. They have to be separate, Finette said. We've never seen those creatures exit a different rip and then come out of one. And once they go back in, they just completely disappear. This is insane. Just completely insane, Bee muttered, a hand running through their hair. How the fuck did this happen? Were they always here? And if not, who made them? I don't know, but we can figure this out. Ellie nodded. We have to. Bee let out a breath, finally calming down a bit. Can we at least all agree that this is completely fucking crazy? We all nodded. Because, yeah, there was nothing else we could do. Hey guys, so that was the end of chapter 2. Hope you enjoyed this, and I'll be back with chapter 3 hopefully tomorrow.